Hello, everyone. I'm Leigh Henderson, aka HR Manifesto across the socials, and I have over 20 years in corporate America supporting a handful of different Fortune 100 organizations as an HR executive. Today, I am so thrilled to be speaking about all things Workday and AI with Phil Wilburn, Vice President of People Analytics at Workday. Hey, Phil.
Hey,
So great to see you again.
yeah, it's really good to be on with you again. I can't believe they let us do this together again.
Again, yeah, because the last time we chatted, it was at Workday Rising. Um, do you remember that?
I do remember that, and I
Hmm.
think you were asked to read some big report that I put out with a bunch of data in it.
Yes, yes, the Global Workforce Report. I printed it out. I studied it, remember? I still got my signed by an analytics rock star, my signed
Oh my
copy right
gosh,
here.
oh my gosh,
Oh,
so
that was too
so
funny.
so
That was too
embarrassing.
funny.
Well, I'm glad we got at least one person to read this, even if we had to,
Exactly.
you know.
Yes. No, I legitimately read it. I mean, you all paid me to read it, but I read it
We
like a handful of times on the plane. I thought I would be quizzed, but no one quizzed me. Just saying. So
Well,
still waiting on
maybe we're
that.
saving it for the next time, the next workforce report. I'll
Right.
quiz you. Okay.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. Love it. Love it. Now, like I said, we are here to talk about Workday, AI, and how AI can really support organizations and HR teams. So, shall we jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm excited. The future of work. Here we go. So, Phil, your career has been all about helping organizations use data to empower people. Now, at Workday, you're in a very unique spot, right? You're leading people analytics as an HR practitioner, and you're shaping product strategy from inside the organization. Like, what does that mean? Tell us about your day to day. What exactly
Yeah.
do you do?
Yeah. It's yes, and it's funny enough. My family asks the same thing. Like, what do you actually do? So let me try to explain it at least as direct and simple. And Lee, I think you would understand. At the core, I'm an HR practitioner, just like you were before this blew up for
Mhm.
you, right? But it's with a data and a product twist. And so, very simply, my team's job is to help Workday make better people decisions and ensure every one of our employees, which we call workmates, actually feel our culture and values, and they just don't hear about them.
Oh, love.
Yeah.
That
And
makes sense.
so, yeah, hopefully that makes
I'm
sense
following
a little
along.
bit.
I'm following along.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to do this without the corporate speak, but you call me out on this. Okay. Uh,
I will if you get cringy.
yeah. Okay. Good point. Um, what this means is like we're providing analytics and insights that help leaders and employees take action. This could be around improving growth, career growth, well-being, team health, productivity. It's not just about delivering data and reports that we force people to read, as you have evidence.
Except for
Um,
me.
Yes, except for you. We're actually selling the belief that data can lead to better experiences and outcomes. And I have a couple of examples if that is more helpful for you to understand kind of the day to day.
Yes. Yeah. Overshare. Love.
Okay, so here's a couple of examples. A few years ago, we found that employees who left Workday were 3 times more dissatisfied with career growth and mentoring, and that the number one driver to improve this sentiment was an effective career conversation. So, across Workday, we made a shift from an annual or biannual check in to quarterly conversations. And guess what, Lee? And
Love
sentiment
that.
went up and retention improved.
I love that.
Another example is around flexibility. So a few years ago, we heard our employees wanted more than just a hybrid schedule. So we introduced the work from almost anywhere program. And that allows any one of our employees to work up to 30 days at a location that they're not assigned to. So it could be at home. It could be around supporting their parents, or if you get a new puppy, you could stay home and train your parents. or not train your parents, but train the dog.
Maybe that too.
Maybe that too. Yeah, maybe I could use some of that. But we saw great response from this program. 86% of our managers said employee well-being improved. 87% said they saw no drop in productivity, and in fact, 13% said they actually saw an increase in productivity. So the program, it didn't come from a vendor. It's all about listening deeply to your employees, analyzing, and then taking action.
Go figure, right? Like treating people like adults and delivering for them. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So listening to them, surfacing that data, and then making decisions about it. And that's what I do. And I still have a hard time explaining that to my family.
Well, numbers, you know.
Numbers. Most days it's, what is it? Look, me sitting in meetings, looking at charts, asking questions, and then trying to figure out how to make somebody do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's an incredibly important role. I couldn't do it, but I'm glad you are doing it. And you're knocking it out of the park.
Oh,
So I
well,
hear.
thanks.
Okay, so let's now turn and talk about current state. If you had to describe the world that HR leaders are navigating right now, how would you describe it? What does it look like?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a bit complicated. Um, when I talk to my peers and CHROs, they tell me that they're navigating kind of two major landscapes right now. The first, which I think is kind of a big macro shift, is business uncertainty, economic volatility, geopolitical change, and HR is being asked to help organizations stay grounded and adaptable at that time. So that's the first one. And the
Mhm.
second one may not be a surprise. I don't know if you've heard of a technology called AI before. Is that
I have.
familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a tech shift, so it's really AI's impact on work, roles, trust. We're not just dealing with new tools here. We're dealing with a fundamental rewiring of how work gets done. And so I think both of these things they can be destabilizing for business. They can be challenging for employees to stay focused and productive. And this is the current landscape that I'm hearing. But Leigh, you talk to a lot of practitioners. You have a big following. What are you hearing from HR practitioners? I'm curious.
Yeah, well, I totally agree um, with the first two shifts that you shared. Yes, right. I mean, there's so much going on always in the political landscape, business landscape, industry, you name it, right? We're always busy. And then the tech shift, right? The impact of AI. But I do believe there's a third major shift, and it's a societal one, right? So we have a handful of generations in the business. All of those generations have different expectations and understanding of work and its importance on their life. And so we do see, this shift uh, of our approach to work,
Hmm.
the impact of work, right? Its importance or lack of importance in our lives, and how that
Mm,
affects our behaviors within the workplace, right? So, how this plays out, at least how I'm seeing it play out, is that a lot of employees have expectations for flexibility, right? They want more flexibility. They want understanding. They
mm,
want support. They want things that weren't ever traditionally, air quotes, historically built into the work experience. And so the shift of those expectations based on all of those societal cultural shifts that we
mm.
are all experiencing are just having this tremendous impact, especially on HR.
Yep.
Because here we have leadership turning to us saying, oh my gosh, retention, attrition, issue, fix it. You know? And
Yeah.
that's a big one. That's a hard one to get your arms around, you know?
Yeah. And geez, that's so impactful and that third landscape of differing expectation from your employee base, you add that on to business uncertainty. I don't know what next quarter or even next year looks like. That you add on AI.
Mhm.
I'm I'm
New
I'm guessing there's a lot
technology.
of right. There's just a lot of anxiety out there, and it comes to us, Leigh. Like they're like our leaders. They turn to us, like, what should we do about this? Phil, what does the data
Mhm.
say? Or Leigh, what are you hearing from this generation or the expectation shifting? And we have to navigate this.
Exactly. So, TLDR, there's a ton going on, and HR is a very active player in it. So, from a tech perspective, the introduction of new technology, I'm interested in your opinion. Um, how involved is HR in
Mm,
implementing AI initiatives within organizations? What are you saying? And really, your opinion here on what role should HR be playing?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think if you looked on the socials or LinkedIn, you would think that HR is in every major AI enterprise adoption initiative, every pilot.
Mhm.
But my experience is really suggests otherwise. And I'll just give you an example here. Um, Recently, I was speaking at an AI panel at a major HR conference. Very senior crowd, lots of VPs, CHROs, very data savvy. And after the panel shared our journey about our own journey AI adoption and use of AI and the role HR is playing, the moderator said, "Hey, audience, raise your hand if HR is helping drive adoption in your company." And when you looked in the audience, my estimation is about 20% of leaders raise their hand. To me, Leigh, that means 80% of these organizations, of these HR, or of these organizations with HR professionals here, they weren't involved at all.
Mm, mm.
And that means IT, business technology, they're leading the investments. And I think that's a huge missed opportunity. I don't know if you've seen or experienced the same on your side.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Um, because there is this larger, broader conversation, right, of AI's impact on work and the experience of work and people's jobs. And so it's a very personal, sort of conversation that really all leaders should be involved in having within
Yeah.
the organization. So, and I think HR, right? The expectation is from employees, workforces that HR should know at least about what's happening in that space, if not driving it or leading it.
Yeah, I think that's true. They should at least know what's happening, but I think there's a case to be made that they should be driving it. And
Mm,
I just try to pitch this case
yes,
to you, Leigh, to see if I can convince you right now. Okay.
right. Sell me.
Um,
Sell me.
okay, I'm going to tell you. Well, there's been a number of research that's been done. BCG has published some articles about 70% of AI pilots fail. IDC just published some research recently that 88% of pilots never make it into production. And so all of this emphasis on AI, and yet it's failing or not making it to production or not having the right impact. And you could ask yourself, well, why?
Hmm.
And the simple answer is AI isn't just about the tech, it's about how people work. And I would say nobody understands that better than HR,
Totally
right?
agree.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm going to continue to sell this to you, Leigh. Okay, so
Do it.
that's just
Do it.
the intro. I know I have a friendly audience, so
Do it. I'm
hopefully
not
it
doing
lands
it.
well. Hmm.
Yeah. Sell.
Yeah. So I think AI is most valuable when it complements human work. And I bring that up because a recent study out of the Quarterly Journal of Economics found that AI is most effective in solving common problems with lots of training data. But the biggest value it can
Mhm.
provide is when it interacts with the human and they tackle complex situations. That's where the biggest value is provided. So it's not just task automation, you're
Yeah.
actually collaborating with it. And that means you have to drive behavior change, right? So if the value comes from AI interacting with a human, right? which means you have to reskill or help the human rethink how they're doing work with AI, with the AI tools they have.
Hmm.
Are you
Yes.
sold
And
yet?
encourage. There's also, this need to encourage
Yeah.
others, employees to embrace, right, new technologies in general, but definitely AI. So I think HR can be a real advocate, in selling that new technology within the organization, right, and explaining benefits of beyond just how to use it.
Yeah, and employees need they need something a little bit different, right? So I'll just give you one interesting stat. We found that um, when an average employee sees their manager or their peer use one of the AI tools, they're 2 to 3 times more likely to try it themselves.
Ooh,
So it's
love
not
that.
so it's not just change management from the top. You actually have to approach it by creating advocates and use cases and showing and demoing real value from people you trust. That allows and gives permission your average employee to try it out, right? And I think trust is everything. And HR
Mhm.
really brings that expertise and motivation, change, and culture around this in order for adoption to stick.
Yeah, see, instantly I go to, ooh, we need to embed AI champions throughout an organization to help drive and implement them. I just went right to like strategic solutions. Let me put that together. But
Yeah.
hey, this isn't about me though. This is about you and your expertise, just for the
Okay.
record. So I'm sold. You sold me. Yeah, HR should be a driver. And really, one of the biggest, if not the biggest advocates for AI within an organization, just considering its impact, and its potential to impact work, right? So, how can HR professionals then take a more proactive and strategic approach and role? Um, what have you all done at Workday?
Yeah. Well, I think, like we are talking about, if you want AI to stick, HR has to
Mhm.
move, from just using AI to enabling AI across the organization, across the enterprise. And we've done that at Workday, and I'll share kind of three
Yes.
approaches we've used, but we have some really good data to back this up. So I think the first broad approach HR needs to do is play a huge role in driving adoption and reskilling. This may be the single biggest reskilling effort ever done in organizations, and HR needs to play a role in that. So at Workday, we created a program called Everyday AI that allowed us to communicate, talk, share research about our own employees adopting
Mm.
AI. And at the beginning of the year, we knew that about 37% of our employees were using AI in their regular workflows. And we knew there were some barriers to that. So we listened to our employees, like I was saying earlier. 43% of our employees said they lack sufficient time to explore AI.
Mm.
And then more than a third said they were uncertain about how to use them and the reliability and accuracy of them. And so we took this feedback and we created this program, Everyday AI, which goes from communications, training, enablement to workshops around local promptathon activities to fun plays like the AI Amazing Race that you can do with your team. And we designed this to overcome the barriers that our employees said. And it wasn't a one size fit all. But after running this program for a few months, just a few months, we now see that 80% of our employees are using AI in their
Wow.
everyday workflows. And I personally believe that has a lot to do with permissioning, trust, and being specific on the barriers that we're trying to overcome.
I love that. That's clever. What else you got?
Okay, that's clever. I'm glad.
That is clever.
Okay, good. Good. That's a compliment coming from you. All right. Um, Okay, so the second role that HR should be playing, and we're doing at Workday, and many of the companies that I talk to, their CHROs, is around work redesign. So we were talking about this earlier. It's from
Yes.
tools to transformation, right? So adoption is the first thing you have to do, but it doesn't create value itself unless you evolve the work that's being done, right? So this is anywhere from, and this is very HR specific. Does your job architecture reflect the work that's being done now? Does your team structure, how is the daily flow of work working? Do you have clear guidelines if you're using agents in your enterprise about managers and managing those agents, right? So it's not just about having these tools out there and getting the adoption. Now you have to look at the redesigning of work, the job architecture, the team work, the roles and responsibilities, and that's the stickiness that that's the hard part, I think, Leigh, in this is you have to basically change your op model in order for this to be successful.
Exactly. I mean, for me, in my experience, this is probably the most necessary thing that we need to do to encourage individuals to adopt and use AI within their daily work is that we have to
Mm,
redesign the work and the jobs. And this is incredibly hard, especially in larger, more bureaucratic organizations with big, clunky systems. Job descriptions on paper, if there even are still documented job descriptions somewhere, they most likely haven't been updated in forever. I mean, job mapping structures have shifted and changed. I mean, just everything. Even without AI, that is so hard to stay on top of, right? We hired somebody 20 years ago to do this specific job, and we've never looked at it again. And this is hard to do. It's so necessary, though. You really need that dynamism. Is that the right word? You need to be that dynamic, and how you look at talent and skills within the organization. But this is a sticking point for a lot of
yeah, it's a
organizations.
sticking point. Yes, it's a huge sticking point, but the work has to be done.
It
So
does.
if you just do the tools without the redesign, you're not going to see the value,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And this also like makes time for the learning.
yeah,
Like that's probably the number one piece of feedback or the rant that I always hear is, oh gosh, my employer wants me to, be more nimble and transform and use AI and new tools, but when do I have time to do that?
yeah,
Right? I mean,
yep,
I'm updating an Excel spreadsheet that's 30 years old, daily, manually. Like, when do
yeah.
I have time to learn? How does this fit into my job? So
Yeah, yeah,
it's,
that's true. But I think like the kind of the last piece on here is trust in
oh,
permissioning to do to the experimentation and trying these tools out, Lee. And maybe
mhm,
I'll bust some myths here because I do think that there is a lot of fear around what is AI
correct.
and tech going to do for me, right? Um, that's why HR, I think, has to lead with transparency and clear data policies and systems, and employees feel safer experimenting. But when employees use these tools, it's actually hugely beneficial to them. And I'll just give you a couple examples. We know with our own employees that our highest users of AI are twice as likely to be our highest performers, right?
Makes
So our
sense.
highest performers are using AI more. There's some more interesting stats here that our highest users of AI are 13% more likely to feel like they have a career path at Workday.
Mm,
And our highest users of AI are 15% more likely to be aligned with our business strategy. So these employees, average employees, ICs, who have adopted and using AI in their workplace, in their everyday workflow, they're seeing immediate personal benefits to them from their performance, from the perception of career growth to the alignment to the corporate mission. So if we can get over the hump of the fear and remove the barriers for employees to
Mhm.
use AI, I think it's actually going to make work better. Slightly better, maybe a lot better. I'm not sure, but it's actually going to help the average employee.
Yeah, and I love that you focus on trust. I think that that is so key and critical in this. I mean, anytime we're experimenting with something or we're asking people to be innovative, we have to say it is okay to fail. We want you to fail. Fail fast, fail often, try it on, practice,
Hmm.
play.
Yeah,
We encourage you to do that. We are the leadership team, and you're watching us play with AI and do these things along with you, right? I mean, all of that really helps shift mindsets and hearts
yeah,
to adopt new technologies and initiatives like this. So I love that you have this focus on trust. I think that's huge.
yeah. Yeah, and I think it comes from taking personal risks as well. I think managers and leaders who don't take those personal risks, you don't permission it for others. And I just give you a short example. I just thought of this, a short example. So I do these Friday kind of updates for my team, just short videos, nothing fancy. Just hit record, send it on a Slack channel or something like that. And now we have some AI tools that help make these videos very creative. So I was like, I'm going to use AI. It's going to be amazing. I put my video in there and then it gives me options to edit it and make flows and update it and so forth. And I was so proud of this. It, by the way, took me a lot longer to do it. And my team said, well, that was the worst video I've ever seen.
Oh no.
So
You should have called me.
yeah, I know. I needed some help. But the point was, I dove in there, I tried, I learned some new stuff. I'm making better videos now, but I had to have that embarrassing feedback from the team. And my team saw me trying, which hopefully enabled them to try some more as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think it does remove a lot of that fear, right? For folks, they see a leader embracing something. And, when it comes to fear, I think we've all heard a lot of resistance to AI and hesitation, at least, because people fear perhaps that AI could take their jobs. But just a reminder is that AI does not want to do your job for you. You don't even want to do your job some days. Like AI, I apologize, is not going to take your job, but it can support you in your job to make your
Yep,
job a lot better for you.
yep.
So,
And that's the message we need to get out. So I love it. I love it.
yeah. So I know we are almost at time here. A couple more questions for you. Where are you seeing the most value creation within organizations that are successfully adopting AI? What should we expect if we bring it in?
Yeah. I'm going to talk real specifically about HR because I think bringing it in to HR is going to be a game changer. And I just give you
Agreed.
because we both do the work, we know how some of the work is very tedious and we don't enjoy it. And so
Yeah.
your words, I'm, I still work in HR, so I have to be a little bit,
I
cautious
do
about,
too. I do too. We
okay,
all have
oops.
admin. We all have
Yeah,
admin. Every job
we do.
does, right?
We do. Yeah. Okay, so here's a great few examples where AI is making a huge difference. So in recruiting, so for example, organizations that are using Workday's recruiter agent or AI agent are seeing around 35% efficiency gains, and some are seeing up to 50% freed capacity for their recruiters. So that's amazing. And what it does is it gives real time back for recruiters to focus on candidate relationships and strategic hiring. I think that's game changer, right?
Oh, that's so
And
important. Oh,
yeah, right. To actually focus on the human side, right?
yeah.
Um,
Because the employee experience, not to cut you off all rude, but the employee experience starts from that first reach out. It
sure does.
starts from your talent acquisition teams.
Yeah,
The
yeah, sure does.
entire employee experience that they will have with you starts in that moment. So the investment there, that time back, the efficiency gains, that's phenomenal.
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Um, HR operations is another area. I know you're very familiar with that area, right? We're seeing 15 to 20% capacity gains when AI supports things like case management, helps your teams navigate the complex job architecture that you have and any changes with that. So it's freeing up real value there. Um, One of my personal places where I'm seeing tons of value, and I don't quite know how to quantify this yet, but let me try to explain it. Like
Let's
for
hear
HR
it.
business partners and people analytics teams, the impact is massive. So think about this: when leaders can uh, essentially immediately see personalized summaries of like employee listening, organizational health information, which points out retention risks. And they don't need to chase reports or their HR business partner or, or people analytics teams for that. And they just have it. It allows them to take action quicker. And it allows HR business partners and people analytics teams to get out of this constant creating decks for leader type motion that we do over and over again.
Gosh, I mean, knowledge is power, just
Yep.
flat out. I mean, as an HR professional, just FYI, people that have never worked in HR, I am not hoarding information. Okay. I want you to have it all. The thing is that within a lot of organization systems, they're not set up, right, to report out information that you can
Yep.
take action on. They're just random numbers that have to be analyzed by someone like me, right? That can then give you guidance after I crunch those numbers and interpret them for you. And so having, dashboards like that, information you can actually take action on as a leader and own it, so empowering.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
huge.
empowering. It's going to be a game. It already is seeing freeing up tons of capacity. So, and I
Wow.
think
Please,
yeah, I know. And then
more
just
of
like
that.
on a personal,
Sorry, oh, that would free up so many hours of a day for an HR professional.
yeah, they may even be able to sit down with their main leader they support and have a in-depth conversation with them. Imagine that getting out of spreadsheets and
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Love it.
Um, And then, on the self-service side, I think that it's so simple. This is the simple thing, but I think it's going to be just hugely transformational. AI is creating tons of value. So I personally use our Workday Illuminate agents to get quick answers on things like tax withholdings and pay changes. Open up my pay slip and ask a question from Illuminate agent. Hey, why is my pay different this week? And it gives you a clear, concise answer. And I just think, how many cases or questions does HR or payroll respond to for that coming from employee basis? It's insane. And I even feel more trusted because I tried to break it, like, hey, can you tell me other things? And it will say, no, I can't answer that. And I was like, okay, it's telling me the truth, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't have to have other people in HR or in payroll who know me looking at my pay and then tell me what's going on. I just
Right.
get answers in a simple way, right?
Well, as someone who has been cussed out over a dime uh, on a paycheck, I could have really used this.
Mm. Yeah.
So that agent there would have shared with the employee that there was some tax withholding issue, and then maybe they wouldn't have come into my office and started cursing at me over a dime worth of differential. But anyways, I love
So
evolving at
but
work.
you could see how it helps us HR professionals
Of
for sure,
course.
right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. More of
So
this, please. What else you
more of
got?
this. I mean, those are the big things, and but to summarize, I think like you said, AI is showing up really across the employee experience. Um, and the value isn't just from AI being smart, but it's also from being embedded,
Yeah.
trusted, and simple enough for people to actually use.
Ah, love it. That's a pretty mic drop moment right there. But I'm going to give you another chance for a mic drop moment with our
Let's
last
do it.
question.
Okay.
Now, there's so much excitement around AI and the future of work. I'm excited about it. You're excited about it. I mean, it's limitless potential and opportunity, right? So, if you could offer one piece of advice to HR leaders who are trying to navigate this whole space, what would it be?
Hmm.
How can they better navigate the uncertainty?
Yeah, I think what's happening right now, and here's my advice: don't chase the shiny object. Solve for the real work. That's
Mm.
where HR is going to provide value. There's no shortage of impressive demos out there. You see them; they're prolific on LinkedIn and other socials. But
Yes.
but the HR teams making real progress with AI are the ones asking the tough questions, right? Where are our employees stuck today? What
Mm.
decisions take too long? Where could we remove friction to create capacity, momentum, agility, uh, all sorts of the goodness that creates? So start with the work and move backwards. And I think one, you're going to get the right AI solutions that you need for your workforce. And two, you're going to build trust with your workforce because you're going to be solving their direct problems.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Can I offer a piece of advice too?
Please, please.
I mean, I'm not trying to like one up you or anything,
No, I mean,
but
let's do it. Let's
just
do it.
from an HR perspective, because I do get asked this a lot. As you can imagine, people are in my DMs or sliding into my DMs to talk nerdy to me about AI. But I would just say take messy action. Just act. Just do. Nothing has to be perfect. A
Mm,
lot of us hesitate to start something because we want to be perfect at it, you know, when we first start, but that's not realistic. That is just not human nature, nor is it
mm,
reality. So just take messy action and start experimenting and just put those initiatives forward. Action, 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 because you can always pivot, make it perfect, polish it, all of that as you go. So that would be my piece of advice there for HR leaders that no one
I love
asked
it.
for.
Well, I mean, you did just try to one up me, and I think you were successful at it. So this is why you do your job, and I still have my
Oh,
job.
good. Oh gosh. Oh, I love it. And I have loved this conversation as always, Phil. Such a pleasure to talk to you. So thank you so much, not only for sharing your wisdom and expertise, right, but for reminding us that tech and humanity, they don't have to be at odds. And I think that that is such an important reminder. And they can absolutely elevate one another. I truly believe
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah,
I hope this conversation sparks some thoughts about the future of work and what AI can do for you and your organizations, and maybe even challenged a few of your old perceptions about AI and its impact. But let's keep pushing for better, more honest workplaces together. And Phil, next time we talk, I'll be expecting a sneak peek at whatever magic your team is coming up with, perhaps the new global workforce report. I don't know. Is that coming out soon, later this year?
it will be out in time for Rising, and yeah, there might be like a quiz for anybody who reads it to see if they actually read it.
I hope to one day have like 20 binders of those things here on my shelf. I
Uh,
mean, bury me with them.
I don't know what that
Just
says
beautiful
about
things.
you.
It says a lot, doesn't it? Oh my
It
goodness. Well, hey, if you're interested in learning more about Workday Illuminate, which I hope you are, go to the Workday website and don't forget, just because something is HR approved doesn't mean it has to be boring. Thanks, everyone.